what an amazing crop. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm going to start with a quote. The fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy and compassion by extension. A famous person said this. He then went on to make a case for eliminating compassion, arguing that we as a society are stronger and better without compassion. But debating whether we should abandon compassion or keep compassion might be a bit of a moot point because we can't just rip compassion out of us. It's because compassion is inseparable from human nature. A lot of research in evolutionary psychology supports that compassion is a biological imperative that has been vital to the very survival of our species. Yes, compassion can be distorted, it can be suppressed, but we all have it. It's part of our nature. So to me, a question that is more interesting is how do we use compassion? How do we use it in ways that it benefits not only individuals, but also larger societies? We set out to answer this question by looking at the brain first. We've identified at least 3 networks of brain regions that are important to the experience of compassion. The first interesting thing about compassion is that it motivates approach response. It can be very instinctive, doesn't require a lot of thinking or deliberation. You got nothing to think about, you just gotta jump in, said a man who jumped into the ocean to save a boy from drowning. So how is this possible? How does compassion help us become more brave, more courageous? We looked at people's brains when they are experiencing some kind of threats. These are the regions that tend to be active when we are experiencing threats, when we are fearful. They're all located within the brain's limbic system. And what we found is that people who value compassion, people who say that, yes, compassion is very important value to me, show dampened activity within these limbic systems when they're exposed to threatening stimuli. So what that tells us is that with compassion, we might be able to maintain certain level of safety signals in our brain, which then can make us more courageous and brave. Another defining feature of compassion is that it feels good. When we care for someone's well-being and when we want their suffering to go away, even as our hearts might be aching with them, there still is certain quality of wholesomeness. And it shows up in the brain. We asked participants to do compassion meditation inside a scanner, and the strongest signals were shown within the brain's reward system, including BMPFC and ventral striatum. These are the regions that tend to show up when people experience reward, pleasure. Other regions that showed up were TPJs, temporal parietal junctions. These are the regions that are parts of the brain's mentalizing system that tend to come out when we are trying to figure out other people's intentions, thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and so on. So what might be happening when we are doing compassion medication is that we are learning to appreciate other people's subjective experience. We're learning to see things from their perspective or where they're standing with a sense of humanity. Putting these pieces together, we developed a mobile-based compassion intervention directly informed by these findings. Importantly, every component of this program is intentionally designed to promote and really reinforce the idea that compassion is a human norm. Compassion thrives when we believe that we live in a compassionate world. Then we might be able to turn down the threat signals in the brain and activate the reward and mentalizing processes. I'll show you one example of how we are trying to do this. So these are the real data from our participants. We're doing a validation trial right now. Each line represents a well wish that was sent from one person to another. This is completely voluntary. We did not ask people to do this. This was not part of our RCT manipulation. You just give people opportunities to do it, and they do it every day. Importantly, these wishes are completely anonymous. So there's no expectation or pressure for reciprocity. People don't feel pressure to pay back. And the fact that complete strangers from different parts of the country are wishing each other's well and actually having fun while doing this without expecting anything in return shouldn't be a big surprise. Compassion is our nature, and it sits deeply within the most powerful and ancient structures in our brains. Ultimately, our goal is to normalize compassion. And one thing that can really help to create a more compassionate society is this idea of daily reminder that compassion is indeed normal. Thank you so much.